Alright, so this may be the final game if Measle and his Delver deck can take down Hexproof here. He will all kill this team Mealworms. We'll have to see if he can pull it out, or if Reckoner has the answer. Hopefully he gets some better draws than his partners have there, teammates. Because this has just been absolutely brutal. A little bit of pause here. I do think Measle is currently playing Standard as well at the same time, so hopefully just be a little patient with us here. We'll see what's happening. I think this is going to be a bit of a hard matchup if we can talk about it real quick. You know, Hexproof is great against a lot of the mono black control decks we've seen out there, even though they do have edict effects. But what, you know, I mean, I guess it helps them against the sideboard with the coral nets. But, you know, Delver's not too concerned about that. Mono blue control decks like Delver, they want to be able to interact before your creatures hit the field anyways. So they're going to be able to land some good counter spells on your creatures, keeping your board clear, removing some of those key enchantments like the Armadillo Cloak or the armor. And it looks like Measle is going to have to drop down to 6. That's a good thing, because Reckoner is keeping his hand, and Measle is going to stick to 6. And no turn 1 Delver, it seems, so off to a good start, I would say, for Reckoner. This is kind of an interesting list. I am happy to see Reckoner is running Hexproof, but he is running a list that is running a full set of Commune with the Gods. That was the new card we just got, and I wanted to see a lot more of it. Unfortunately, Hexproof decks have not been... It's not that they haven't been successful, but they haven't been taking the opportunity to bring this card in. I think they might feel that the fact that it throws so much to your graveyard is a disadvantage for you. I think it still has some really good potential. Maybe not a full set that Reckoner is running here, maybe as a 2 of. But I think it has a lot of great potential in order to find, you know, those key enchantments that you may need at any point in time. Quicksand going down for Measle there. Passing it along to Reckoner. Has he got another land? I sure hope so. Maybe he was keeping a 1-lander, maybe a greedy keep there off the Abundant Growth, hoping to draw an extra card and find that land that he needed. Okay, he does. Whew, had me a little worried there. Utopia Sprawl coming down, starting to build up that aura count to about where he needs it. And we'll see if he's got any play for himself right now. There are some plays you can do. He's got 1 mana available. Oh, I forgot he's also running Eidolon in this deck, yes. Unfortunately going to meet Spellstutter Sprite. But that's another great addition, I think, that he made to this deck because of the fact that this new Bestow mechanic, it basically acts as an enchantment in itself, and it turns into a creature afterwards. So if they do manage to get off an edict effect, you're not all hopes lost on your creature count. You know, it's one of the things that I figure Hexproof kind of struggles with a little bit more is having a low creature base. Are we going to see a ninja here? No. So if you can kind of compensate that with these creature enchantments like these Bestow creatures, it could be a really interesting combination of the two. And I'm definitely looking forward to see how it works out for Reckoner here. Quicksand, not going to be obviously that important. I said Commune with the Gods is the first one I've seen. Let's see what it got. Eidolon, which is great. That's actually an enchantment. That's a creature as well. Dryad, he's got actually 2 of those Bestows in there. That's pretty nice. And Abundant Growth, he's going to lose 2 lands here. What does he pick out? I don't think Abundant Growth is it. I think if I were him, I might be going for the creature. And let's see, what did he choose there? It does look like he went for the Eidolon. Yes. So maybe not the play I would have made. Though I guess he was tapped out at a point he couldn't have gone for the Dryad, but this reach ability I think would have been a lot more helpful playing against this particular matchup. Maybe that is just me. He's only running 2 of the Dryads in his deck main. And none sideboard, it seems. So I still think I would have picked that over the Eidolon because of the fact that it has that reach ability. It can sit there and chump block these fairies for days. which will keep him from throwing a ninja, and it also is able to block a Delver, although it does trade with that. So we'll have to see what comes of this. Still no ninja yet for Measle. I guess that's always a good thing. 6 cards in hand for Reckoner. You can't complain about that. 1 is a land. We get to see finally our first hexproof creature. We know he does have 1 creature in hand. Probably saving it as an enchantment. It looks like Measle has an exclude. No, just a counterspell. So that's going to be obviously kind of the tricky part, trying to get around those counterspells. He is tapped out now, and we do see that Reckoner has 4 mana available. Looks like he's going to just throw down the Eidolon, try and get a little bit of life gain out of this, and start enchanting it up. Look at that. 6/6 first strike lifelink off of 2 mana. Oh, and a second armor comes down. Oh, this is fantastic for Reckoner. Unfortunately, Measle is running full set of snaps in his deck. We'll have to see if he can find one to stop this. If he finds a snap, I mean, I guess you don't really need a Piracy Charm when you have snap available to you, and that's going to drop both of these off if he finds it. Ninja comes in, hopefully, I guess, looking for a snap. 2 mana available, 5 cards in hand. 1 is a Sprite. Does he have it? Does he have it? Little hesitation, so I'm going to assume he doesn't. At least not yet. Maybe trying to decide whether or not it's important for him to do it now or on the attack. We'll have to see. Reckoner going to try and get a little greedy and play here. He does have Sprite in hand. He can't play anything for 1. Oh, he is. He's going to try and play a little greedy here on the Eidolon. If that gets counterspelled, then we... Or is it a snap? 2 mana. Sprite. Oh, I forgot. I didn't... Oh, man. He was probably thinking like I was. I didn't think that Sprite could counter that because you're paying the 4 for the bestow cost. But the Sprite is actually going to do that because it is the converted mana cost of 1, even though you paid 4 to throw it out there. And no block here from Measle. That is going to go through. He's probably going to look to draw another card here off the Ninja and find that snap that he needs. 4 cards in hand. Going to draw a 5th here. Oh, another Ninja? Oh, he has another Ninja, so he's going to draw 2 cards here. Still looking for a snap. See if he can find it. Worst case, he can throw down the Fairy on this turn and provide a chump blocker to keep himself in this game as he continues to look for the 1 card he needs to finish this out. Not going to play it yet. He can actually, it's a good play, wait until after attackers are declared. That way it leaves himself open. He can use it still as a counterspell and a chump blocker if he needs to be. 1 card in hand for Reckoner. He's going to attempt to make the play. I think I would have attacked first. Oh, it's an armor, so he can't counterspell that with the Fairy anyways. But he's probably still going to put it down here to chump block that Eidolon. Going to be significant life gain coming out here for Reckoner. We'll see what Measle decides to do. No play yet, but that is a 27-27 Eidolon coming his way. I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anyways, down comes the Sprite. We'll provide that chump block ability for this guy just to keep Measle alive for another turn where he's going to draw 3 cards, 1 on his draw step, 2 from the Ninjas, and hopefully find the snap he needs. If he gets a snap, it is going to be probably eventual game, I would say. Obviously not game right away because of the fact that he is up to 52 life. The second Quicksand comes down here. So Reckoner is still not in a terrible place being at 52 life, but at this point, the Delver player's at 6 available lands. Pretty full hand. If he does find a snap, I would still give him the advantage. Reckoner, no cards in hand, 27-27 on a first striker. Didn't leave back a blocker, so I don't know if he has a snap or a blocker. Yeah, there you go. Looks like Frostburn weird. Obviously not going to attack through with both Ninjas if you do not have something to block them. 1 card in hand now for Reckoner, going to go to the attack phase. Probably going to obviously get chump blocked by Frostburn. Can't do 27 damage. I was going to say, if you pump it up and you have 2 Quicksands, you can do some damage, but not enough just yet. It looks like Oronar is going to come down, or attempt to come down, and it's going to be met with Deprive. That would have been a nice drop because it would have been an additional body that he could get through, or at least hope to get through, against Measle, who is only at this point in time playing a chump blocker a turn. 6 cards in hand, probably still going to attack through with both ninjas. I would be surprised if he did not have a chump blocker available in those 6 cards, if it's a fairy or anything else. And he does have, again, 2 other opportunities here, drawing cards off these ninjas to possibly find that chump blocker if he does not have it there. 8 cards in hand for a Delver player, 6 mana available. That's not a place you want to be in if you're playing against him. But until he finds a snap, and there it is, you knew it was only a matter of time with all the cards he was drawing. That's going to drop off all those enchantments straight to the graveyard, and he's going to have 7 cards in hand, plenty of opportunity to counterspell that if it as that Eidolon comes back down on the next turn. Delver coming in, he's going to, this is where I said I think Delver's ahead as soon as they found that snap, because Reckoner's at 71 life, but all he has in hand is the Eidolon, and he's going to be sitting across some decent damage. Plenty of control options available here for Measle. Lots of land, lots of cards. This will be tough. Reckoner just needed probably that, if that Gnarlid landed, that probably would have been game. Ledgewalker coming down. It's not a terrible play. Diversifying your mana base, your creature base, is definitely helpful here. It looks like he's going to try and bestow, but I think that would be countered with this play. You have Measle 4 land available, 5 cards in hand. And I would be just shocked if he didn't have some kind of counterspell to make that happen. So it looks like Reckoner's debating whether or not he wants to bestow or just play this guy. I guess I see no real reason not to try and bestow it. But it looks like it will meet a counterspell, and it is a sprite. So, not much to go here. He's going to have to just start whittling away at life points here. Only at 7, but he really doesn't have any need to leave anything back. I mean, he could leave a fairy back. This is Measle, that is. Could leave a fairy back just to chump block in the case that Reckoner tops into an Ancestral Mask or an Ethereal Armor. But he's still in a pretty good position. Delver isn't going to flip this time around. And there's Spire Golem for 1. Gotta love seeing that. That's obviously going to be his blocker. He can sit here and swing through with everything. Going to again draw 2 cards. Oh, has he got another ninja? Having a single active ninja on the board for Delver Blue is a very hard thing to beat. Having 2 active ninjas, if you're Delver, you're in an incredibly good position, and it's even harder to beat. If you have 3 active ninjas, that's... What can you do against that? You're going to be drawing 3 additional cards a turn, and it looks like Reckoner getting a land here isn't going to be able to really... He could chump block one of those ninjas, but when you're at 63 life, there's no real reason to prevent the damage. You would just be throwing away a single creature in hopes of preventing a single card draw, which is kind of almost irrelevant when you consider the fact that he's got 2 other ninjas there. It looks like Delver is not going to flip once again. But he is going to attack through. We know that he does have a Sprite still in hand, which is going to provide him, obviously, the ability to block and armor if that comes down. Though I don't think he even needs it. He's going to have so much counter ability here. We'll have to see. Like I said, that's all he needed. Reckoner just needed to get that damage through. You're sitting at a 27-27 first strike lifelink. Usually you feel pretty good when you're in that position, but... because it did not have that hexproof ability, you could not avoid that snap, and especially with double ninjas, getting that extra 2 cards drawn every turn, it was just a matter of time until Measle found the snap that he needed in order to get that to happen. Another Cloud of Fairies. Now he can counter an Ancestral Mask if that comes out. This is going to be basically game over. I can't imagine any position where Reckoner comes back from this, unfortunately. Top stack into Boggle. Looks like it's probably just going to be its Sprite. The 1+ for Reckoner is it draws that counterspell out of Measle's hand. But he's still in not a great position here. Three Delvers on the board. Is it going to flip this time around? Yes, it looks like Measle is going to reveal Snap and flip all 3 Delvers. And finding that 50 damage he needs to win this game is going to be pretty easy at this point in time when you got 9 coming through the air off the flying Delvers alone. 9 off of those, 2 off the Spiral Golem, another 3 off of the fairies, 3 ninjas. Looks like he's got 20 damage on the board, plus drawing 3 cards. Is there a chance that Measle decks himself before this is over? I don't think so. I guess that puts Reckoner with 20 damage on the board at a 2-turn clock. And it's just, I'm gonna just flat out say, when you see 3 ninjas on the field like that for Delver, that's just game over. If you can't remove those in any way, and Hexproof has no ways to do that, then it's just game over. Utopia Sprawl coming out for Reckoner. Measle going to swing through again for another 20 on the following turn. And see what happens there. I really don't know what to say here. This is a scary thing. Hardcast a Gush. I've sat across from a single ninja and been terrified of playing Delver. I can't even imagine sitting across from 3 ninjas, drawing 3 extra cards a turn, 1 creature on the board, no cards in hand. Yeah, they said here in chat, do you really need the Gush, Hardcast a Gush, he's got 3 ninjas and a single card draw anyways. That's pretty crazy. I feel so bad for Reckoner because, to get that 27-27 lifelink first strike on the battlefield, be that close to winning the game and just not finding what he needed. I think if he landed that Gnarlid, it would have been absolutely important to making that happen. But, God, there's just nothing that can be done at this point in time. Just discarding lands here. Nothing big. 1 turn clock for Reckoner. There's nothing he's going to have that can finish this game for him. So I don't know. Just passing time. Yeah, here we go. We're going to go into sideboarding, revealing a Glade Clover Scout as the card that he top decked there. Sideboarding wise, I'm not sure. I mean, Measle does have the Coral Nets, but I'm not sure I would even bring those in. The only thing it's going to hit, I guess actually this particular list, he does have a couple of these Dryads, but he's only running 2 Gnarlids, and other than that, everything else has Hexproof, so I'm not sure that bringing in those Coral Nets is really going to be the best answer for him. Now, as far as Reckoner goes, let's see, he has 2 Hornet Stings. That's not terrible. You could bring those in. Those easily handle, obviously, not Flip Delver. They handle yourself a couple of fairies. He is running 4 copies of Journey to Nowhere. That's kind of nice. Maybe bring those in. They can deal with those 4 toughness Spire Golems. They can deal with those ninjas. Get a nice permanent removal effect going on there. Something that he probably could have used the last game. If he could just find one of those at any point in time. Tripping over my own words here. If he could have found one of those at any point in time, he would have been able to, remove those ninjas and probably get through that damage, remove a chump blocker there. And I think that's actually a pretty nice thing to have in the deck with the Commune with the Gods. It helps you find those critical Journey to Nowheres in that situation. Have him dig through a significant portion of his deck, find what he needed to get that down, and finally clear the way for that. He was in a situation there where Measle could just chump block all day, and he was drawing an extra 2 cards a turn. Really not anything you can do about that. So we'll have to see a bit of an extended sideboarding here. Give it a second and see. Sometimes the client does time out on you. But I think, let's see what else we got here. Reckoner also running Fogs. Can't see that being terribly helpful. I mean, it would prevent the damage from the ninjas, which would prevent the draw. Might keep you alive long enough to make that final attack. I just feel like this is not exactly the matchup he wants to use those. Actually, he is running 3 copies of Fists of Ironwood. Let's relog this real quick. Which is interesting. That is the enchantment for those who do not know. that gives your creature trample, but at the same time, yeah, there we go. At the same time, it's going to give you a sapling token, and the token is not so important here, but that trample would have definitely been important. If you could have found an armadillo cloak, that would have been game over. So starting off here, not as good for Reckoner. Has to drop to 6 while Measle keeps his 7. And we'll have to see what they can pull out here. Again, going first for Reckoner, kind of nice because he's going to hit his second land drop before Measle, which keeps him from having to worry about a counterspell on this first play. So if he does have a second land into a 2-cost creature, that would be pretty nice for him. First land comes down. Looks like it's just going to be some enchant ramp. Not too uncommon for these early turns that you see. For these early plays on Hexproof, and attempting to get down a Boggle. No problems here because of the fact that there are no counterspells. Sorry, reading chat real quick. Question was asked about bringing up decks during sideboarding. Some of these matches are just going a little fast. If they jump in real quick, maybe what I'll do for future videos, thank you for the suggestion, is just bring up the sideboards as opposed to the entire deck, because it'll be faster to talk about just the sideboard cards than the entire thing. So tapped out here for Measle because of a double Delver play. Getting down Ancestral Mask, kind of nice for Reckoner just to get that on the field. And going to be able to attack through unabated to get Measle down to 17. First chance to flip Delvers. If he gets a double flip here, he did actually set it up with Brainstorm. He probably is going to flip these. Yes, and he does, revealing Snap. Kind of Reckoner's anti-card from last game. So with that Brainstorm setup, Brainstorm is something that obviously a lot of Delver decks consider running, but it has been kind of deemed not as strong as some of the other options you have, obviously Ponder and Preordain. And Brainstorm, while it does set up the Delver flip, has just been considered not as strong. And Measle's one of the few Delver players that does continue to run a full set of Brainstorms, which will give him the opportunity to keep those Delvers flipping as he desires. So is actually leaving 1 back, kind of interestingly enough, to prevent some damage probably on a chump block here, in case Reckoner just had a nut enchant draw here with, say, several armors or something like that. Measle playing a little defensive here, obviously being very respectful of the power that Hexproof can bring. Though with 3 mana available, you assume 5 cards in hand, he does have some kind of counterspell available for it. We will have to see what's coming up for Reckoner. You have to kind of assume as this Hexproof player that whatever you're casting here is going to be counterspelled. Looks like he's going to attempt to put down the Eidolon, but it's probably going to meet a Spellstutter Sprite, since it is one of the few things that it can easily... Oh, no, deprive. Can easily take down enchantment-wise. Obviously can hit the armor as well. But, getting that Sprite in play off of these 1-drops is definitely one of the advantages that Delver is going to have against actually many of the decks in the league. Cloud of Fairies coming down, keeping those flyers through the air. Maybe we'll see a full-out attack here from Measle. Swing for 6, which would drop, obviously, Reckoner down to 11. A little surprised that Reckoner decided not to attack with the Boggle. Maybe that's me being a little too aggressive. I think I would have been happier trading the Boggle for the Delver, but I don't know what he has in hand. Actually, he's only got 1 card, so maybe that would have been too aggressive. But we do see a Ninja come in here and another Delver going back down, trying to wait and flip it again. So 2 cards in hand for Reckoner. Things not looking great for him, but it is going to be an Armadillo Cloak. That's pretty nice. So if he does get a chump block here from Measle, he's still going to be able to do 6 damage through and gain the life that he needs to keep him in this game. That was kind of what he needed last time around. He needed that trample to be able to get through that damage. And I feel so bad for this team Mealworms right now because, first and second rounds, they kind of lost to really bad draws. And then this first game from Reckoner was going really well, except for the fact that he just couldn't deal with the ninjas and was waiting basically for Measle to get a snap. So attacking through on the ninja here, no blockers available, going to draw some cards. Actually, even attacking through with that Delver, that's got to be a mistake. I was going to say that Delver would have easily been traded for that Glade Cover Scout. So luckily, I guess for Measle, he leaves it back. Damage actually not so critical at this point in time for Reckoner. Drew into a land there. Because of the fact that he's gaining 7 life, it's basically canceling out all of the damage that is being done by Measle, who didn't block there. I mean, it would have just prevented 1 life, but I guess he was hoping to get a flip there on that Delver. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see if Reckoner can save this round for his team. Ninja coming through. I think I might want to chump block if I was him. I mean, I guess it's not so critical. All it's going to be able to find him is a counterspell. At this point in time, he's got only 5 damage on the battlefield, so it wouldn't trade the Boggle for the 3 creatures. He still would be able to keep his guy alive. And actually only 4 toughness between these 3 creatures. So with no other blockers on the field, this might be game. Unless Measle, 6 cards in hand, he could have sprites that he throws down. First one is going to come down. Does he have multiples? He does. So he is now looking at enough attack to trade a whole bunch of creatures for that Boggle if he wanted to. And he might have to. 2 blockers on that. You're looking at 3 blockers, 4 blockers, 5 blockers. He is going to have to trade all of those in order to make this swap. But it will keep him alive. Going to put him down to 1 life. Can't attack with the ninja next turn unless he has another creature available. And I'm hoping in 4 cards he does. And looks like Ledgewalker's coming down. So this might be game for Measle. We'll have to see what he has available to him. 1 land, 4 cards in hand. Is Delver going to attack through with the ninja? Or does he leave it back? If he doesn't have a flyer here, he's dead to the Ledgewalker. So maybe he doesn't have a flyer. He's considering attacking with the ninja to find it. But he would still need another body on the field to block this scout as well. No attack here. And there is a Cloud of Fae, which can block that Ledgewalker. Alright, so he's going to be able to kind of chump himself alive. Not really anything. Reckoner needs like an Armadillo Cloak to finish this out here, but doesn't get it, it appears. And he's going to pass the turn, 1 card in hand. I don't know if he's trying to bluff another... a spell there. Attacking through now with the ninja. Probably telling me again that he has another creature to block with. 1 card in Reckoner's hand. Maybe it's a creature, maybe it's a land, and he's trying to bluff it through. Delver coming down. Again, what Reckoner really needs here is something with trample. I mean, even if he is to enchant either of these creatures, he can still sit here and be blocked by Measle, who has 3 cards in hand and plenty of mana, can counterspell. Oh, but doesn't have one. That's interesting. So you're now looking at this 3/3 first strike on the Ledgewalker. Maybe he was trying to throw that down, bring out a counterspell for Journey. No Journey coming down, so he's going to attack through. Measle's going to have to block both of those in order to keep himself in this game. So that Delver is going to go down before the flip, but I think that's still a pretty good place for Reckoner to be in. Oh, tapping out. Oh, snapping the Cloud of Fairies. That's kind of nice. Alright, so 3 cards in hand. We know one of those is Cloud of Fairies, which is going to be able to block that Ledgewalker. Ninja's going to draw him another card, but I don't know... At this point in time, 1 life, it's a really tough thing. He's going to attack through first so he can draw his card and then decide what his play is. Actually, I guess if he gets a Spire Golem, it puts the Ledgewalker's damage out of range for killing it off, unless Reckoner is able to find an additional point of damage or pump, or actually any enchantment to make that armor even better. So here comes the draw. 5 cards in hand. Pretty nice place for Delver to be. One of those is land. One of those is Cloud of Fae. And a Gush. That's... Ooh. And Screensaver popped up. That's going to be pretty nice for Measle, getting his hand put together with the Brainstorm. Like I said, plenty of land available for him. Maybe digging for a Spire Golem, which would, there it is, be a pretty nice blocker for him. It might be what he needs to turn this around. Cloud of Fae coming out as well. Also can chump block. Can use that Spire Golem now to be more aggressive, even if Reckoner decides to leave this Ledgewalker back to block the Ninja. He will obviously be able to attack through the air here and start working away at Reckoner's life points. 2 cards in hand. Still not seeing a play here from Reckoner, who can't attack. Yeah, I don't know what the pause there for. And no play. So 2 cards. I'm wondering if they're lands or a creature. If he's just too afraid to play because Measle's got so many cards in hand and is possible to counter it. We will have to see. Both attacking through, obviously telling us that he has another flyer available, because he would not just attack out and let himself die. As I said, there's a Ninja, so he is going to Ninja in off the Spire Golem and replay the Spire Golem, doing 3 damage there and drawing cards. So now looking at 2 active Ninjas with the Spire Golem 2 block. Measle at 1 life is still in a pretty good position to win this game. And that's not something that you want to hear, but Reckoner finally making a play here. 3 cards in hand. Going to be a Utopia Sprawl. Obviously not getting a counter from Measle. Now going to attack through. Kind of interesting. Wants to be aggressive here because Measle is on the back foot, kind of. But he is going to have 2 Ninjas available to draw cards. And it looks like Snap is going to save his Spire Golem from dying. So he's going to have another turn to chump block with the Spire Golem. He has 2 turns if you include the Cloud of Fairies as a chump blocker. And that's 2 turns where the Ninjas are going to draw 4 cards. This could be just absolutely... Oh, and a 3rd Ninja! Oh, man, this is just everything going Measle's way at 1 life. This is some really incredible play out of Measle. You have to absolutely give him credit for how this is going. To be at 1 life on his back foot, not very many things going his way early in this game, but in the mid to late, he's really kind of pulling it together here. Now you look at, if you try and be aggressive here, if you're Reckoner, he's got 2 turns to block off of the Golem and Fairies, and he's drawing 6 cards off of those Ninjas in those 2 turns. Reckoner really needs like double Journey to Nowhere or the Sting to get rid of the Fairy. He needs 2 removal spells that are successful against a Delver player who's got 6 mana available and 6 cards in hand. And that's something I don't think he's going to be able to pull off. There's the Hornet Sting. Oh, targeting Measle. Does he have a counter spell? I will be shocked if he doesn't. There is a Sprite coming down, which provides him another blocker and another turn. I always forget that Hornet Sting can actually do direct damage to an opponent. But, you know, like I said, 6 cards in hand, 6 mana available. It would just be absolutely shocking if Measle did not have a counterspell to protect himself there. We'll have to see what Reckoner has. Still 2 cards in hand that he hasn't done anything with, and I'm guessing they're lands that he's just trying to bluff with. Which would be kind of tough for the deck. Hexproof is not... You know, it's kind of interesting, so many Pauper decks these days that are running very, very small mana packages. And that's also one of them. I mean, it sits at... this particular list at least is sitting at 18 lands for Hexproof. So 3 Ninjas coming through. It looks like Reckoner will be able to just... plus the Flyers -1, so he has a blocker. Going to kill off one of the Ninjas. Maybe Measle's doing it to keep himself from decking out. Not something I think he really has to worry about at this point in time, but he's going to draw an extra 2 cards. Reckoner down to 5 life, and he's looking at 4 on the field for Flyers. If Measle ends this turn with ends Reckoner's turn with an additional sprite. Just gets any other flyer here. Brainstorm going to dig for it. He's got kind of lethal damage next turn, actually, even if Reckoner doesn't play an additional creature. So we'll have to see what Reckoner has. 3 cards in hand. You would hope it was something, but perhaps it was just lands. Sorry, I'm on the edge of my seat here. A little quiet here, but 7 cards, obviously going to be an exclude coming out. Such a bad position to be in with any more than one. I said this first game, any more than one active ninja is a really bad position to be in. Measle is the Delver player at 1 life, but 7 cards in hand, 6 available mana. And this is going to be game on the board unless Reckoner brought in those fogs. Because he can chump block one of the ninjas. But it's still going to be lethal damage. Good. Are we going to see Ninja number 4 coming in? Yep, Ninja number 4 for the sprite. A bit of overkill, perhaps. We'll have to see what is going on with Reckoner here. And he does not have it. So wait, let's see. He revealed. Does he reveal? No, he's not going to reveal, but God, what a devastating place to be in as the hexproof player, and you have Measle down to 1 life, but just playing absolutely incredible games here, and getting these. This is just kind of a testament to what happens if you can't shut down those ninjas. So there you go. Measle will take the first all kill of the tournament, bringing down Team Mealworms with 3-0, and that will be Team DBC. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I am going to try and record more videos for other matches as the league here continues, and throw them up. Don't forget to check it out. I will keep an update on Mtgo Academy. That's where you should have found these videos. And I will also be posting a weekly recap on castingcommons.com.